Hi everyone, happy Saturday. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you are excited for this hard Clues by Sam that we have today. If you're new here, we play Clues by Sam usually every day on the channel, and it is a daily puzzle that changes in difficulty along the week. So we have a hard one today, and in it there are 20 people. We have to figure out who is a criminal and who is an innocent using the clues that they give us. So there's no guessing involved, nobody lies. Let's see how this goes. The link is in the description if you want to play along with me. So, we start with Stella telling us that both innocents below Diane are connected. So, Stella is below Diane and she's an innocent, which means that any of the people who are connected to her could be the second and last innocent, but the people who are not connected to her, in this case Ivan, couldn't be an innocent. And we tag Nick and Zola with the same colors to indicate that they are opposites. So if one of the yellows becomes an innocent, then the other yellow is going to be a criminal. We don't need Stella's clue now because of the tags. Ivan says that column C is the only column with exactly 3 innocents. So we know now that besides the 2 innocents below Diane, we need one more. And Diane is the only other person in column C, so she needs to be the third and last innocent, and we don't need Ivan's clue anymore. So we click the clues that we don't need anymore, and they go sort of see-through, so they don't catch as much attention. Now Diane says that both criminals below Ellie are connected, so same situation here. There has to be 2 criminals here. Same situation but opposites. Instead of innocents, we're talking about criminals. And let's say that those 2 criminals are Jose and Olaf, who are below Ellie. That will make the other 2 people below Ellie innocents. And we know that column C is the only column with 3 innocents, right? We now know that below Ellie there's 2 innocents. So Ellie herself couldn't be an innocent as well, because that will make column D also have 3 innocents. So Ellie has to be a criminal. We just don't know who the criminals below her are. Ellie now says that Lucy is one of 2 criminals below Amy. So Lucy is a criminal. And the same thing happens in column A as happened in column D. There's 2 criminals below Amy, which means there's 2 innocents as well. And that makes Amy not an innocent, otherwise column A would end up with 3 innocents. So we get 2 new clues here. We don't need... I guess I'm gonna leave Diane's and Ellie's clue here because it might remind us of the totals later. Amy says that 4 people on the edges have an innocent directly below them. So, people on the edges are everybody who is around the board. And there's 4 of them who don't have anybody below them, so all 4 of these people here in row 5 are out of the question. And we have to look for another 4 who have innocents below them. But we don't have enough information yet for that, so let's look at Lucy's clue. There's an odd number of criminals neighboring Ryan. So Ryan has Lucy as a criminal neighbor, and either Nick or Zola, that's 2. So currently he doesn't have an odd number. We do know... This is going to be hard indeed. We do know that we could have both Peter and Uma be innocents. And one thing that we also know, because I sort of said that I didn't have enough information for Amy's clue, but we know that there is going to be 2 innocents here in column D, right? And 2 criminals. So there has to be 2 people here in column D who have innocents below them, because there's always going to be 2 innocents in column D, and those 2 are always going to be below somebody, because Ellie is the only person on the edge here who is not below somebody. So we're gonna have 2 of them here, and we're gonna have the same situation here in column A. We are gonna have 2 innocents in column A, and those 2 are for sure gonna be below somebody. There's no way for an innocent in column A to not be below somebody. So that's 4 people on the edges with an innocent below them, right? Which means that Bruce who is also on the edge, couldn't have an innocent below him, because that would go beyond R4. So Gunny is a criminal. Now Gunny gives us a new clue. Only one of the 4 criminals neighboring Stella is Peter's neighbor. Okay, so Stella and Peter share 3 people as neighbors. Only one of them is a criminal. We don't know who that is, but we know that Stella has 4 criminals neighboring her, and only one of them is here shared with Peter. So if only one of them is shared with Peter, let's say that that person is Martin. That gives Stella 2 criminals neighboring her already, right? One of them in column C, one of them in column B. She needs 2 more to make 4 total, and those 2 have to be in column D. And what else do we know about column D? That it only has 2 criminals below Ellie. So those 2 criminals are going to be neighboring Stella, which makes Jose, who is not neighboring Stella in column D, an innocent. And we get a new clue from him. No, we don't. I was hoping I could get a new clue. Let's work on Ryan then. If Ryan is the single criminal that neighbors Stella and Peter, that'll make him have 2 innocents. Oh, we get 2 innocents in column B, which makes Bruce not an innocent. Because we know that column B couldn't have 3 innocents, only column C has 3 innocents. I shouldn't have dismissed Ivan's clue, because it could remind me of that. I'm lucky that I drilled that into my brain right at the beginning, and I remember that right now, but I should have left Ivan's clue open until I didn't need it anymore for any of the new columns. But now I know that Bruce is not an innocent, and he doesn't give us a new clue either. So we go back to Martin. And not Martin, but Ryan. And we know that Ryan has to have an odd number of criminals, right? Neighboring him. And so far he has 2, which is an even number. So that means that these 2 being innocents and these 2 being innocents leaves Ryan with an even number, which can't happen. But Ryan having somebody in column B being a criminal. What we know is that we couldn't have both Peter and Uma be criminals because there's only one more criminal here in column A. And we couldn't have both of them be innocents, could we? I mean, we could if either Martin or Wanda are a criminal. So how does that go for me? 4 criminals neighboring Stella is Peter's neighbor. Do I know anything? Oh, both criminals below Ellie are connected. I forgot about this. Because I only thought about the both part of the clue. But them being connected makes Tina a criminal. Because she's the only one who is connected to any other person below Ellie. So Tina is a criminal for sure. And now we know that Olaf and Zed are opposites. And Tina does give us a new clue. Exactly 2 of the 8 criminals on the edges are Wanda's neighbor. So Wanda has 3 people neighboring her on the edges. 2 of those have to be criminals. Could be Zola. But we know also that there's 8 criminals on the edges. Oh yeah. One that couldn't have 2 criminals neighboring her here in column A. There's 2 criminals only below Amy. So only one criminal here neighbors Wanda in column A. And the second criminal has to be Zola herself. Which makes Nick an innocent, because they were both yellow. Now, we know that there's 8 criminals on the edges total. Pray for me that I count this right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So nobody else could be an innocent, nobody else could be a criminal, sorry, on the edge, because our 8 are already accounted for. 6 of which are revealed: Amy, Bruce, Ellie, Lucy, Tina, and Zola. And 2 more who are either Olaf or Zed, here in column D, and either Peter or Uma, here in column A. So Frida and Wanda are both innocents. I did count that right. Proud of myself. And we also know that Martin and Ryan are opposites here because Peter needs one criminal shared with Stella. So what else do we have as clues? There's an odd number of criminals neighboring Ryan. So that goes, because now we know that Ryan has 2 criminals and a third one here in column A. So 3 is the odd number we're looking for. Martin couldn't be a criminal, which makes Ryan himself a criminal. And we have 2 new clues. There are more incidents in row 3 than row 4. So there's 2 incidents so far in row 3 and 1 in row 4. Ryan says that 4 people on the edge have an incident directly to the right of them. So nobody in column D, even though everybody in column D is on the edge, nobody has a person to their right. So all of these don't count. The ones that count are everybody here in column A, of which we have Lucy and Uma with innocence to their right. So the other 2 would have to be Bruce and Zola. So that makes Zed an innocent and Olaf a criminal because they were both orange. And we don't need Ryan school anymore now. So there are more instances in row 3 than row 4. We know that there's 2 instances in row 3, which makes row 4 be able to have at most 1, and that's Stella. So Peter has to be a criminal, which makes Uma an innocent. Very nice. Calm and collected, indeed. And I solved that in 12 minutes. Only 31% of the people have a perfect solve. So I don't know, because my attention probably in the last few days hasn't been its top game, but I didn't find this one as hard. But also it's a lot of mechanics that I'm really used to, so very nice for me. A good Saturday. Let me know what you thought of it and how hard it was for you. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. So bye bye.